and you should be as gods, knowing good and evil.
Right, and which was true, but he said he lied to them. The point where he lied at was that he said that you shall not die. Now, can you get what's that? Ezekiel 18 verse 4. That's where the lie came in, where he said that you're not gonna die. No, you're gonna. Yeah, you'll be like gods, you knowing good and evil, right? You'll be like a judge, knowing good and evil. You know when to tell one from the other, but the consequence at the end is that you're gonna die. It's a curse. What's that? The soul that sinneth.
Okay, I got it.
All right, go ahead.
Ezekiel chapter 18, verse 4. It says, "Behold, all souls are mine, as the soul of the Father, so also the soul of the Son of Man. Son is mine." Slakia. The soul that sinneth, it shall die.
Right, the soul that sinneth, meaning, and you already know the definition of the word sin, right? When you go to 1 John 3 and 4, is the transgression of the commandment of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right, if you transgress those laws, then you're a sinner. You sin, and those laws were only given to the nation of Israel. All right, just like back then, those commandments were given to Adam and Eve by the Most High, but it was by word of mouth. There were prophets back then. We didn't get to that point yet, but we're gonna emphasize more on that. But go ahead and Ezekiel a little bit more.
Ezekiel
18.
18?
Right.
Okay, that's all right. I'll read it again.
Read it again. Yep.
It says, "Behold, all souls are mine. As the soul of the Father, so also the soul of the Son is mine. The soul that sinneth, it shall die."
Right, and what did Adam and Eve do? They sinned by hearkening unto that wicked ass man back there in the garden, which was Esau or Edom. Back then he had his color, lying to them, teaching them to go into the ways of the other nations, to the false philosophies, just like he's doing today. You got Jake going into Buddhism, Christianity, Islam, everything except for who they are, man. When you go to teach them that they're Israelites, don't even tell them that. That's the most wickedest thing they have ever heard. But tell them about Buddhism, man. That's beautiful. Tell them about Mithraism. Oh, that's beautiful, man. So all right. So now we could go back to
Right. Okay, so
Genesis.
verse 5.
Yeah, and I guess we could probably go one more verse and then cut it there, and then we could continue doing this is gonna be
I guess we
a segment,
7.
long segment, so to speak.
All right, so it says, "For the Most High doth know that in the day you eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil." And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and notice to say the woman saw, the woman is always curious. That bitches stay curious.
Yeah,
man.
that's why they're lesbians now,
Right?
because of curiosity.
Yeah. It says, "Now when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof and did eat, and gave also unto it," which lets you know right there, it didn't say no apple, and it ain't talk about no fucking apple, man.
Right.
Because first of all, there ain't no apple that you're gonna eat that you would think is gonna make you wise. Oh, that's the golden apple of fucking China or something. You eat that and you have wisdom shooting out your ass. No, it was no such thing, man.
Yeah.
All right. So it says, when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise.
Yeah, and what apple was out there? What apples out there that'll make you wiser than anybody else,
right?
Or anything like that?
And it didn't say nothing about no fucking apple, man.
Yeah, no apple
at all. It didn't say nothing about no apple. And the food that they seen on the tree was meaning what? Talking about the knowledge of the other nations.
That's
like
right.
This brother went to how the nations, with the zodiac's sign,
right?
How the nations used to go into that or whatever.
On the left
they were doing that back then, reading their horoscope and all that bullshit.
Right.
And women get into that. Who's the main people when you check out this horoscope reading shit or going to psychics and stuff? That's these women. You see, the men, and notice, that's why I said, it said, and when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, because why? These women think that they could get knowledge out of all this stuff. Oh no, you can't knock it until you try it. Let's go to the Botanica. Let's go to the the gypsy lady and all this and that. That's the woman that said that. That's what happened back during the time of Adam.
I got a precept.
And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food and that it was pleasant to the eyes and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof and did eat. Meaning what? She she started following behind the other nations, because back then they didn't know what it was like. All they knew back then was how to do right. They just knew the law, statutes, and commandments. They didn't know nothing about going. See, now we know about what it is because we went through it now. That curse that fell upon us. We went through sinning and going off and breaking the Most High's commandments, the Most High breaking us up, punishing us and everything. Back then they didn't know that.
Right. They didn't know the consequence.
They didn't know the consequences. They didn't understand it. So, the woman, which is the weaker vessel, as the scriptures say, she was curious and what would happen and what it was like to go and follow these other gods, right? So you got a precept?
Yep. This is 1 Timothy 2nd chapter and the 11th verse on down. And it says, "Let the woman learn in silence with all subjection."
Right. And that's why a woman's supposed to keep her damn mouth shut, man. And the scriptures tell you from the woman was the beginning of sin. Through her we die. All because going back to what we're reading right now. So that's why the scriptures say, let the woman learn in subjection. A woman's supposed to be quiet, man. A woman ain't supposed to be running her goddamn mouth. All right, well, these women are out of order, but they're going to be put back in order real soon, man. They're going to be put right back in fucking order, man. Go ahead, brother.
"But I suffer not a woman to teach."
Right, and this is what happened when a woman teaches. She started teaching what? Against what the Most High set down.
Yeah, you got women pastors now.
Women pastors. And brothers should have learned, go back to Adam. Because the woman taught Adam that way. Adam wasn't into that shit, but the woman taught it. And if you look at it to this day, these women get these niggas into all these different other philosophies. That's why niggas are into the church, following behind a damn woman. Into Buddhism, following behind a damn woman. Into tarot card reading or psychic reading, following behind a damn woman. You name it. Go ahead.
"But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence."
Right. So basically, women shut the fuck up, man. Go ahead.
"For Adam was first formed, then Eve."
Right. Because that's the order. The man comes before the woman. The man is over the woman. Adam was first formed, then Eve. Go ahead.
"And Adam was not deceived."
Right. And as we read in it, it was the woman who was deceived, who listened to the serpent. Who did the serpent come to? He came to the woman. Go ahead.
"But the woman being deceived was in the transgression."
Right. She was in the transgression. And as we're going to go into it, like the brother said, we might have to do 2 more parts, 1 more part or whatever to get into it. I mean, we're trying to keep it basic or whatever, but your brothers know how it goes, man. The spirit leads to other links, Is that it? Okay. So now back at we're at verse 6.
Yep, Genesis 3 and 6.
All right, I'll read it again. It says, "And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat." Which what? That's how you get to Jake. Jake got a weak spot going back during the time of Adam. Got a weak spot for that woman. All right. It said, and her husband did eat, meaning what? He got down with with the customs of the other nations and everything. It says, "And the eyes of them both were opened, and they knew that they were naked." Now when it says that they knew that they were naked, meaning what? They knew that they had sinned.
Right.
They knew that they had went off. All right.
I got you.
And it's a script. Okay.
All right. This is Revelation 16 verse 15.
Right. There's another one in Ezekiel too that goes with it. That one's good right there.
This is Revelation chapter 16 verse 15, and it says, "Behold, I come as a thief." This is Yahweh Shai speaking. "Blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked, and they see his shame."
Right. So blessed is he who keeps his garment, lest he walk naked, meaning what? That you sinning, you going off, and they see his shame. Which is just like, that's comparable to a guy that comes into this truth. Here it is, the Most High. When you come into this knowledge, the Lord is clothing you with this knowledge.
That's
as
right.
a garment. All right? That's why the scriptures say put on righteousness as a garment.
Right.
because the Most High is clothing you with His knowledge.
And also, O Jerusalem, put on thy beautiful garments. It's talking about the word.
The word. But now when you leave this knowledge and you go off or whatever, this knowledge is no longer on you, and what? You're naked. You're naked. And men see your shame.
Mm-hmm.
You know, oh, wait a minute. Wasn't you a guy that was teaching the Bible? Wasn't you believed in the Most High? You was one of them Israelites. What happened to you? They see your shame. So the same thing happened back then during that. Cause they never, you know, you know, I'm just, as an example, here was Adam always had a beard, always ate the right fish, the right meat and everything. Now all of a sudden they eating pig. He's shaving his beard off.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they was naked. They stuck out like a sore thumb. They got caught with their pants down.
Yeah,
man.
doing drugs. Because drugs are nothing new neither.
Yeah.
Doing drugs, you know, opiates and things that fuck up your mind and your thinking. You know? Because, you know, drugs are not new neither, man. You know, these people, and these people that are alive today are not new.
Right.
Not realizing that they were back there too in the garden. Especially this generation we're living in right now.
Exactly.
You know? So let's
all right,
finish up.
Yep. Now it said that and when the woman saw that Slakia, verse 7, and the eyes of them both were open, and they knew that they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning what? They knew that they went off from the commandments, and then when it said when they sewed themselves fig leaves, meaning they try to hide themselves amongst the other nations and blend in with them, following their customs and everything.
Exactly.
Now let me read this precept real quick. I'm gonna read the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4, verse 19. It says, "And lest thou lift up thine eyes into heaven, and when thou seest the sun and the moon and the stars," right, like the brothers going into the old, the zodiac, said, "Then lest thou lift up thine eyes into heaven, and when thou seest the sun and the moon and the stars, even all the host of heaven, shouldest be driven to worship them and serve them, which the Lord thy power hath divided unto all nations under the whole heaven." Showing you that what was Adam and them doing? They was following after the other nations under the whole heaven. It said, "But the Lord hath taken you and brought you forth out of the iron furnace." So that's the main point. The main point is that's what the Lord gave to the other nations. You know, to worship in the sun, the moon, and the stars.
Right.
That's why the Lord said, "Thou should not be dismayed at the signs of heaven."
Was that 4:19 that you just read?
Yeah, that's Deuteronomy 4:19.
Right.
Then Jeremiah was at 10:1, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
The Lord said, "Thou should not be dismayed at the signs of heaven."
That's right.
As the heathen are dismayed at Adam. But Adam and Eve, they were dismayed at him.
Yeah, like a solar eclipse, a lunar eclipse. Mm-hmm. These heathens, they get into all that, you know.
Right.
You know, in a wicked.
Right, because they start worshiping the sun instead of the Most High, who caused all that to happen.
Right.
They start worshiping, you know, because it's a solar eclipse. Oh, the sun, the sun god Ra, or so forth and so on.
Right. So the ways of the heathen are fucking stupid. Pretty much overall, once you come into this knowledge, you come to find that out, that they're just fucking stupid. And the only reason why they're ruling over us, because they're so damn stupid. But you ask yourself, damn, but if they're stupid, then why they got rule over us? The only reason is because Yahweh Hashem Yahushai set them over us. You know, it's part of the learning process, pretty much, to learn evil and to learn the good. See, so they had their time. All nations have their time, and especially as their hand upon Israel to whip our ass and all that. Only so that at the end we could have our hand on all of them. You know, so it's the will of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua that we just gotta follow, man, and be patient with. Although the everyday monotony, man, is sometimes it feels unbearable. But like Yahweh said, to put my burden upon you, for it is light. So really, when you think it's unbearable, really it's not unbearable. It is bearable. All right, so brothers, we're gonna continue this. This is gonna be like an ongoing segment here. Genesis, the 3rd chapter. So we're gonna continue on with that, and I'll I hope y'all brothers, learn something, and just stay tuned for the next segment.
That's right.
So, hey, shalom, brothers.
Shalom, brothers. Yahweh Shabbat.
Yahweh Shabbat.
Shalom.